And here are some pictures of, that's me and Henry. Before we, here are a couple of soldiers right there. Here I am with my brother. He was a top turret gunner and radio operator on a B-24. Have you heard of a B-24?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I worked at Rainbow Corner in London, which is what this is. It was a club for American soldiers. It had a place to eat, but it didn't have sleeping quarters. That was in some other place.
What did you do there?
I smiled, I greeted, I danced. In fact, I felt like kind of danced through the war. This had a ballroom in it. It was a marvelous old hotel. And it had long, narrow windows and chandeliers in it. And we usually had an American band play, so everybody wanted to dance, and they always wanted to dance with an American girl.
Right.
So halfway through the dance, they would completely turn off all the lights and open the windows because they couldn't open them because of blackout. Mm-hmm. So for about 10 minutes, we danced in the dark. And then they closed the windows and off we went again. And I was there in London for about 3 months. And then I was asked to go on clubmobiles, and that was out in the country, serving coffee and donuts to the men in the field. That was the crew I happened to be on at the time. That's me and Diane and Francie. We became good friends. And we had an English driver for this bus. And we made the coffee and donuts right in the... Here we are making coffee and donuts.
Wow. What would the guys say? Were they so excited?
Oh, they were. And they'd just look up at us, and we'd just smile at them. And they'd say, oh, it doesn't need cream and sugar, you're sweet enough. We heard that several times, as a matter of fact. And this is a picture on top of, well, those were all sandbags there. And here I am. He was a radio man, but these two were, they took care of this plane. So I got in the plane and didn't go anywhere, but just got a picture taken.
I love your outfit. It looks so,
Yes,
look so comfortable.
Very elegant. It was, well, we went over there with Sears Roebuck suits with just a skirt. Mm-hmm. You know, well, they weren't warm enough for England. Besides, we had to get into trousers if we were going to be out on the field. Right. So we had them made of English Air Force blue, beautiful material. And here I am in my trousers. And then somebody gave me leggings, is that what you call them? Anyway, and we're watching a show. And this was a special. I knew all those boys at the air base. And then they, I dated the captain for a little bit. And one time when they come in, they don't say a word. We're there. But we just smile and they don't say anything till they become, what do you call it? They have to tell what happened before they could come back out and visit. And one man a man that wasn't with this crew came through, and he kept looking at me, and he came back, and he was a colonel that had gone along on this trip with them, and they had been pretty well shot up. So he said, they want you to come to the hospital where they are. And several of them were there, but I was shocked to find out how many airmen were in the hospital. This is because they were bombing over Europe at that time. And these are all letters from soldiers.
Oh, wow.
All of them.
So they would just kind of meet you out there, get your address, and write you?
Well, wherever.
Yeah.
And if they wanted me to write, I'd write. I wrote about 200 letters a week. I just kept writing little letters back to them so that they would get a letter in the mail, which they didn't often get. Hi, honey. When smoke gets in your eyes, did black magic. Makes you feel. There are such things. Those are all songs.
Oh, okay.
Of the time.
Uh-huh.
And as I say, they're just...
Do you think any of these guys were like kind of in love with you, or was it just...
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Either that or they thought I was like a sister.
Right.
Or you remind me of my mom. I'd say, oh, really? He was dead by the time I got this one, June 27th. I think he died about the 17th. And he wrote songs. Well, hello there, Mary. Another one. Hello, Mary. I love that handwriting.
Yes. How often do you look through these?
Well, I look through them every once in a while thinking I'm going to really organize them. Mm-hmm. And then I can't do it.
Right.
So I have my daughter, I want her to get all these in order. There's somebody in Washington, D.C. that wants letters from overseas. So eventually we might get these done. Herline, it was in Valkenburg, Holland. Francie and I were at a pre-combat exhaustion center, which was where they'd come off the front lines for 48 hours. They had to surrender their guns, which was hard for a lot of them to do. And we heard all this shelling. We could see the ACAC guns. They had a porch at this hotel, which would shutter, move, when a bomb would go off. Well, that was the Battle of the Bulge, just practically over the hill from where we were, which of course we didn't know then. But all these soldiers that would come in were usually from that area, and they'd tell these grim stories, and then we'd smile again at the breakfast table or wherever. And I was practically crying all the time. Go up to my room and cry, come down and smile again. The girls always were tired. We never let up.
Were you told to just keep smiling, like that was like what the Red Cross was supposed to be there for?
Yeah, we were morale raisers. Mm-hmm. So how could we do anything else?